Okay, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar, where we will be taking a look at, two really important components in terms of network operations, the network monitoring and also the network automation, and kind of taking a look at how the two can coexist. So thanks again. And welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kevin Jackson. I am the Technical Solutions Consultant with Help Systems by way of the Intermapper product. And I have a very special, guest presenter, Pat Cameron, our Director of Automation, who will be talking about network automation. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Kevin. How are we doing?
Excellent, excellent. And full disclosure, just to kind of let my audience know, we are doing a little construction within the building. So if you do hear some drilling, that's not me, I promise. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
We seem to have jackhammers over our heads this morning, but we'll try to talk over it.
Yeah, we'll power through. So our agenda today will kind of talk about what the Intermapper product is, the solution, I should say, what we do and how we do things. We'll also take a look at Automate, our network automation tool. We'll look at how the two products kind of coexist and how they function and work with each other. And we'll talk about some use cases, and then we'll go and take a live look at the products in action. And again, if we'll have a brief Q&A at the end of the presentation if time permits. So if you do have questions, please feel free to send those questions within the chat window, and we'll try to address those questions within this time frame. And if we don't get to those questions, we will get to them thereafter. Also, we'll be recording today's session as well. So if you would like a copy of today's recording, we will be able to provide that to you as well. Before I get started, I would like to open up our poll. I have some polling questions that I would like to open up to our audience. We have a couple of questions that we'd like to present. The first and foremost is, are you currently automating any of your network management tasks? On average, how long does it take to resolve a network issues? And you have a number of different time frame. And if you're currently using a network monitoring solution. So what I'll do is I'll open up that poll, and I'll keep that poll open throughout the presentation. All right. So essentially, as an IT professional, we're kind of always searching for the next best and most cost-effective tool that can help us do our jobs day to day. And the one thing is you want to find a solution that you're confident with that solution, that you know that solution has your back when things happen. So I've been in operations meetings where I've had to provide an RFO or reason for outage. And sometimes my response have been, we just missed it, right? And that is never a good response. It wasn't a good response 10 years ago, and it's not a good response now. So, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have solutions in place where we don't have to make that same mistake again. So network monitoring in 5 steps. I know there's a number of different steps within the whole network monitoring solutions, but I like these 5 steps. I think these steps are important to get a good understanding of the who, the what, the how, and the whys to network monitoring. So first and foremost, when we're looking at monitoring our infrastructure, we want to determine what our performance levels are. All right, we want to figure out what that baseline is. Like, what is it that will make the network kind of function the way we intended and the way we want it? So once we have an idea of those kind of optimal performance levels, then we can take the necessary steps to kind of introduce solutions to protect that or protect against it. Network discovery is really important. Oftentimes, the network officials don't necessarily have a good understanding or a good idea of what they have coverage over. We might know our immediate infrastructure, but there's a lot of things that's kind of sitting out there that we might not be aware of. So a product that can provide you with a network discovery functionality where you can use it to determine your current and also new devices as they attach themselves to your network is important. It's also very important to kind of determine what kind of information is most critical. There's a lot of different performance metrics that can be used. You can choose to do basic performance monitoring, basic health monitoring, but you have to figure out what information is critical. All right, do you want to monitor your traffic? Do you want to monitor the physical attributes of your devices? Do you want to monitor just the up-down status of a device or availability? Or is there other data metrics within your organization that's important to you? So once you determine what those informations are and what is critical, then you can, again, vet out your solution that can provide you with that information. Utilizing such protocols as SNMP and flows technology, I think, is really important. SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, has been around for a long time. It's one of the lightweight protocols that will allow you to do a lot of monitoring and capture a lot of good information. Most monitoring solutions out there in the space utilize SNMP as a way to capture, kind of really good performance information. Flows technology is rather important if you're looking to monitor bandwidth and traffic within your organization. Understanding bandwidth performance, I think, is important because that you can use to make recommendations whether you need to improve, increase your coverage, improve your performance, or whether you need to put things in place to throttle a bandwidth accordingly. So these are two very lightweight protocols that you can use to capture some really good information that can give you a really good understanding of overall network performance and bandwidth performance. And then last but not least, using exception-based alerting. You want to be notified when things do not work the way they want to, right? Or when they're supposed to. So setting up your exception-based alerts, having a product that can give you a number of different ways, a number of different mechanisms that will allow you to alert and set up those notifications, I think, is important. Doing sounds, email notifications, text messages, being able to execute certain scripts and tasks within those notifications. Interfacing with other products and other notification mediums, I think, is important as well if you don't necessarily use the standard notification kind of technology. So a lot of flexibility and functionality there, but I think these 5 steps are really helpful just to kind of get you on the right path and figuring out how you want to monitor your network. So what is Intermapper? Intermapper, essentially, we are an infrastructure monitoring solution. And what we do is we provide you with network visibility. If you look in the space, and if you look at a lot of the surveys within the space, oftentimes IT professionals, the one thing that they are currently struggling with is not having that overall visibility within their environment, not being able to see what's going on. So what the Intermapper provide is we provide that mapping construct, and within the mapping construct, we're able to support that and give you performance information and performance monitoring as a feedback. So you can now present your maps, you can outlay your infrastructure, your network, and real time you can see exactly how those devices are behaving. So we have within the live map, you're able to do your auto discovery to determine what devices you're currently working with. We have color-coded icons where you can see the status and the states of your devices. So as your devices goes through different thresholds and different statuses, you're able to see that visually as well as getting those specific alerts. Real time, we're polling your devices aggressively real time, and we're capturing information and presenting that information in a graphical format. So you have that up-to-date view of your network at a glance. The way we do our monitoring is, as I mentioned, SNMP is one of the main protocols that we use. We use a lot of SNMP kind of functionality within the product, but we do have the ability to monitor using ICMP. We're able to monitor using different types of TCP or command line or UDP, HTTP. So there's a lot of different options in terms of overall monitoring. But what makes us who we are is our ability to monitor just about any device that has an IP address. And the way we do that is we use what we call a probe. And the probes are kind of the backbone of what we do. The probes, essentially, it's the way that we interrogate our devices or interrogate specific devices using the information presented by the vendor of that particular device. So that gives us a lot of flexibility and range in terms of what we can potentially monitor. We have our own proprietary net flow analyzer product called Intermapper Flows. So Intermapper Flows allows us to be able to monitor bandwidth and utilization traffic at the edge of the network. We have a number of different alerting mechanisms built into the product. We present a layer 2 mapping as well, so we're able to show you kind of an accurate depiction of how your network is laid out. So essentially the key features, just to summarize, is our real-time network map. We have a bandwidth monitoring solution, Intermapper Flows. Network performance monitoring is kind of inherent within the product. This is what we do. We present you with information and feedback in terms of the health of your devices and how your devices are behaving. We present not only a logical layer 3 diagram, but we also present a layer 2 diagram which shows the interconnects between your layer 2 networks and their respective endpoints. And then last but not least, the different alert mechanisms built into the product that we present and allow you to set up to be notified when your devices are not behaving the way they're supposed to. So just to show just a basic use case, use case might resonate in terms of day-to-day operations here, is we're using SNMP to monitor a particular device. This is a switch, a ProCurve switch. We're using an SNMP high traffic probe to monitor an interface on this particular switch. And within this probe, we're able to capture and present different thresholds. So my threshold here is I'm saying if the traffic coming into this interface, interface 1, is greater than a certain amount, 5,000 bytes per second in this particular case, then I want Intermapper to alert me and let me know that this device is in some type of alarm state. So this particular use case, you can see here, I have an alarm on this particular device. My threshold has been breached. The incoming traffic here, the received traffic, is greater than the threshold that I've set. And Intermapper gives me the reason why the device is in an alarm state, and now I can take the necessary step to mitigate. So very basic use case, but a very powerful use case in terms of just overall network monitoring and capturing some really important information about the health of a particular device. So what is Automate? And this is where I will hand it over to Pat, and she can give you a little bit more information, high level, on Automate.
All right, thank you, sir. So now that your network is being monitored with Intermapper, wouldn't it be nice to be able to remediate automatically, fix some of those problems? In addition to letting you know that there was a problem, go ahead and fix it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Automate product, and then we'll take a look at how Intermapper and Automate work together. So when we talk about Automate, we have, you can be anywhere on this continuum of automation. We have a line of products that will take you from using robotic process automation on an individual workstation or within a team, to scheduling all of your back-end processes, up to monitoring your system. So you can start anywhere in this continuum and go anywhere. And what we're going to be concentrating on today is monitoring your system with Intermapper and then using that robotic process automation that's built into the Automate products to fix those problems when they occur. So let's take a look at Automate. What is Automate? Do you want to go to the next slide? Perfect. So if you haven't seen our products and you're wondering what is Automate, Automate is an IT and business automation platform solution that you can use to create, manage, and deploy tasks without writing any code. Our products reside in the multi-platform space of help systems. All of the Automate products use an intuitive drag-and-drop action interface to build those managed tasks. A task functions like a script, for those of you that are familiar with scripting. The difference with an Automate task and a script is you can apply error detection, error handling, error correction, and notification to every process within a task and every step. So our tasks can respond to triggered events like schedules or files, and now we can respond to those alerts that you're getting from Intermapper and then automatically run a task that will fix the problem that you're having. So in addition to helping to monitor and fix issues on your network, let's take a look at a few of the other things that Automate can do. So I'll just show you a few of the capabilities so you can think about, in addition to helping with fixing problems in the network, we have a lot of customers that use Automate for managed file transfer. So we have built-in file transfer. You can encrypt and decrypt files with an Automate task. We can read and write to any database. We can read and write Excel, refresh an Excel spreadsheet. So a lot of those kind of day-to-day tasks that people are doing at their desk, we can take that and automate so that they can concentrate on more complicated and maybe more customer-facing issues. And then we also have some built-in Active Directory tasks so that if you're the system administrator and you need to add new employees to any of the applications within your business, we can automate that piece as well. So we can automatically create a new user in Active Directory, assign them an email address and an inbox, and then enroll them in any other applications that you have. So keep those types of things in mind too. In addition to monitoring your network, any of those other system administrator type tasks that you do day to day, we can automate with Automate. Automate is the great integrator. So not only can we automate Excel spreadsheets, maybe automate scripting, PowerShell scripts, etc., we can automate tasks that use a web browser or use any kind of a desktop application. All those interactive tasks, start up a telnet session, log into a Linux server, and go through a series of menu options that would submit a script to run. So those types of, again, those types of tasks that you don't think can be automated, we can automate with the Automate products. And then, like I said, Automate is kind of the great integrator. If you do any kind of OCR or PDF processing, we can do that. We have web service actions included so that you can manage those web service applications, PowerShell commands. Like I said, you can build your PowerShell script within Automate, or we can just execute an existing script as well. You can create your own custom .NET assemblies, and we can run command line applications as well. So the automation suite kind of goes, like I said, from desktop to the entire enterprise and everything that's in between. So let's take a look at how Intermapper and Automate interface and work together.
Excellent. Thank you, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
So Intermapper, the way we envision this solution is Intermapper will be your front end. Intermapper will provide you with that network visibility, and as Pat mentioned, Automate will be able to do your network remediation, so it will be able to do an actionable task. So what is the interface with Intermapper? The way we have it established now is the Intermapper software will be sitting on the same server as Automate, Automate Pro or Premium, and we can execute the task within the Automate kind of infrastructure in two different ways, okay? The first way is the Intermapper system event. So there's events within Intermapper software that can be automated automatically. You have the backup scenario, the log management scenario. These are things that are kind of built-in system events that already are part of the automated process. But really how the interface works is Intermapper will trigger a response and then Automate will take over that response. So when an event an alarm occurs on a device, then you can execute the task that you have been created or pre-created within the Automate solution. You will execute that task to do the actionable kind of event. So you have kind of a self-healing scenario, so to speak. So some of the kind of potential use cases, and there are quite a few use cases within this solution. Being able to do some safer backups, moving data around from your Intermapper solution, moving your maps or moving database information files from your Intermapper server to a safer location where you can automate that process. Intermapper generates log files with all the events that we capture. Being able to move log files off of your Intermapper instance onto another server to kind of offload some of the storage requirements. Being able to open up other mediums, notification mediums. If you have external software or third-party software that you use to kind of alert you, you can use that third-party software with the Automate product in conjunction with Intermapper to be your alerting mechanism or your alert operation. Restart in application services. I think this is one of the more or will be one of the more used kind of use case. Oftentimes, we're monitoring an application or monitoring a service on one of our devices, whether it's on a server or even network equipment. If you need to restart a router or restart a switch or something like that, you can have Automate do that actionable task. So if an event occurs on that device, Intermapper will pick that up, it'll alarm, it'll put this device in some type of a state or status, and based on that, you can send an execution or task to Automate. Automate will be able to restart the service, and kind of and Intermapper will see that restart and address the actual status of the device on the map. Automated ping test, just to kind of ensure that the device is talking. We have interaction with applications like VMware and Microsoft Office, and if you have third-party help desk ticketing systems that you want to kind of include and integrate and use within the automated process, we can do that as well. Another use case might be if you're currently have web established platform and you're monitoring a web environment, you're monitoring connections to web environment, you can use Intermapper to monitor your web services or your web server, and then you can use Automate based on if there's congestion or there's some connection issues on that web environment. Automate can be used to launch a web browser and toggle through that website to kind of see what type of slowness is on that web page. So again, you can kind of use the Intermapper product to monitor, and then Automate can do some problem solving, some checking to ensure that the response that you're getting is correct.
So one of the use cases that we have here is, this is just a picture of a screen. We're going to go online in just a second, but we're monitoring for using WMI to probe to monitor to make sure that the Intermapper flows service is up and running. And here we've got an alert that tells us that flows is not running, that it went down. And so what we are able to do is immediately trigger an Automate task that will restart that service. And now you can see at the next probe, it goes ahead and that service is back up and running again. And I'm going to show you an example of that when we get online, which should be very shortly.
Right now. So what I'll do first, I'll share my screen and just show a quick map example. And then I'll pass the baton over to Pat, and she will be able to show the Automate solution in action. So here, just have a basic map of a number of different devices that we're currently monitoring. We're monitoring some, some switches, UPSs, etc. So the kind of the power of the Intermapper solution is our ability to monitor just about anything, not just your standard devices, network infrastructure, but also non-standard information and non-standard devices as well. We're able to monitor your web services. We're able to monitor storage devices, switches, firewalls, UPSs, environmental sensors. Even we're monitoring one of those PAT light sensors that you see at the airport. So our coverage is really deep in that regards. So in terms of the interface with Automate, simply it's just a within our server settings, we basically want to enable the connection. So this Intermapper server is installed on the same box as Automate. We have a connection to Automate where all we need to do is just enable our connection to Automate. We can test it. The connection is successful. And then from there, it's just a matter of creating your notifiers, creating your alerts. So we have our notification mechanisms built in here where you just select your Automate notifier, you give it a name, and then if you hit the edit task, Intermapper will browse to, these are the tasks that's already been created within the Automate product. So all these tasks are available, and you can select that particular task that you want to run. And then once you've selected the task, you can then assign the task to your device. So if you want, for instance, this application server, we can assign our notifier based on a specific condition. So for this particular server, I want to run this Automate task when my device is down and in a critical state or in an alarm state. So I set my device notifiers, and then when something happens, then that notifier will trigger the response to Automate. Automate will run that task and make that execution. So this is kind of a self-healing scenario where we're kind of taking the manual intervention out of the whole process and allowing the two products to kind of work in conjunction to give you that monitoring and remediation effect. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back and pass the baton to Pat, and Pat will be able to demonstrate the actual task being run. So I'm just going to make her the presenter.
Perfect. Give me control. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Can you see my map?
It's coming up.
It takes a minute for it to come up. All right.
Here we go.
So here we have a map from Intermapper, and I have a device right here that I'm monitoring. And if I go in here and take a look at the probes that I'm using, I'm monitoring for a couple of different WMI services, and if I open this one, oops, bear with me a minute. Intermapper will only let me do what I'm supposed to. So if we open this, I can show you that these are some of the WMI services that we can monitor for. I am monitoring on this server for the print spooler. And the only reason I'm doing this is because it's easy to take up and down so that I can show you how it works. So we have a monitor here for the spooler. And then when this device goes into a critical state, I am going to run an Automate task that will restart that print spooler. So here it shows me I've got my restart print spooler Automate task set if this device goes into a critical state. All right, so what I'm going to do over here, I got my spooler, and I'm going to go ahead and stop that service. And what will happen, oops, you can see we've already seen that there's a problem with this device, and if I look at the status, it's going to tell me that that service spooler is not running. But now it's already back up and running because what we did is we ran an Automate task. If I refresh over here, we ran an Automate task to restart that quickly. So over here, I've got my Automate task. So this is the screen. This is the task builder in Automate. And over here on the left side, you can see we have a lot of different types of actions that you can select from and use to create your Automate task. So what I'm doing here, excuse me, services, is I can just drag this selection over to this work area and restart a service. So this is triggered by Intermapper. So the way that I create this task, I have a few variables. The other thing that I do is I also send out an email that lets me know that this task was restarted. And I've got an email over here that just lets me know that that print spooler service was restarted. So what I do in this task is I start the service, and you can select from a list of available services. I'm using a variable. Variables make your tasks more dynamic and easier to reuse, but you can select from a list of any of the services that are available that are running on this server. And I restart it. You can also restart it on a remote server. So from my main Intermapper and Automate server, I could restart a service over on another server as well. And then I use the email action, which is over here. And I send an email that lets me know that this service was restarted. I don't have to do anything, but I want to be able to log that. So that's just a very simple use of Automate and Intermapper and how you can use it to restart services. You can, like Kevin said, you can use it to manage logs. You can also use it to maybe reboot a wireless router if you need to. But some of the other things that you can use it for, let me just show you this one quick. I know we're getting to the end of our rope. Let's say that, here's a task that I want to show you. Let's say that I'm a manager and I'd like to see the status of my Intermapper devices every morning or maybe every hour in my inbox. And so I don't want to log into Intermapper and look at it. I want it sent to me. So what I've done here is I've created a task in Automate that opens up Intermapper. And then we can use these interactivity actions to move that mouse to various places on the map, send keystrokes, just as if I was going in and requesting to print the map, and again, move the mouse, wait for the window. So over here, so again, in order to build this, I don't have to do any scripting. I have all of the options here that I can use to build a task, so I just drag and drop them over here. I'm kind of teaching the robot what to do. So I can set this task up to run on a schedule. Let me show you some of the different triggers. I can give it a hotkey, and it will run that task. I can trigger it every hour or every half hour and update that, maybe send that map to a group of managers. We have a lot of different types of triggers that you can use. And again, using Intermapper is going to help you with your network monitoring. But if I go ahead and run this, I'll move this over here so you can see that. And I'll just run this task, and it's going to go through. It maximizes the screen, goes through, sets up the printing. It already exists, so it's going to overlay it. I've got that set up. And then it sends me an email with that PDF of my map.
Very cool.
So if you do have reports that, you know, they're not easy to report, or you want to take a picture of a screen, you certainly can do that as well. So just a couple of quick uses for Automate and Intermapper. I'm going to send it back to you, Kevin.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So at this stage, I know we're a few minutes over. One thing we just want to kind of get out of the way, we do have a free 30-day trial for both the Intermapper and Automate product on our website. So please, I implore you to kind of check out the download, the free trial, get it installed. We have an awesome support staff. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, etc., we are more than happy to assist and more than happy to listen. If you have any questions for myself or Pat, also please feel free to reach out to us as well. So at this time, we'll take a few questions. We're about 5 minutes over, so we'll have a few questions. And again, I apologize for us going over, but if we don't answer your questions, we will get to your questions, I promise you. Any questions?
All right. I don't see any. Do you see any?
I think we're good. Well, thanks again, guys. We really appreciate the time, and hopefully we were able to present you with the solution, an overall solution that allows you to not only monitor your network, but also remediate the issues that you come across as well. So, you know, we all know that in the world of network operations, there's always going to be a toolkit. There's never going to be one product that will do everything that you want. So we understand that, and we're trying to provide you with a very cost-effective solution that can do a lot of the jobs, you know, your day-to-day jobs that you come across within your monitoring space. And again, the Automate product is an awesome product in terms of not just the remediation aspect of your environment, but also to do some day-to-day tasks as well and kind of relieve you of a lot of that manual intervention.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.